لا 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 نحتاج
If you are not interested in conversations, if you catch yourself unlocking your phone for no reason, you're most likely a victim of brain rot and decreasing attention span. You are constantly feeding your brain dopamine. If you want a screen, even if you are doing your daily simple tasks, or you feel bad, or you feel like you are doing a boring thing when you do daily simple tasks, it is probably more likely that your dopamine baseline is far more lower, or it's very low, that you want stimulus every time to do or focus on anything. The problem is that even when we are working, we want something in back of our ears playing, like a podcast or something. If we are doing a remote work or something, what I'm trying to say. The exact problem is that we want stimulus every time, but this is not actually what a brain needs. We are feeding our brain so much of stimulus and dopamine that it is constantly having this urge of having more. Drug addiction. I know I am comparing this to a far more big level, but it is true. There are more people who are addicted to phones than who are addicted to drugs. For drugs, it takes many years to come to this point, but for screens, it just took 10 to 20 years. Okay, so what is dopamine? Dopamine is actually a feel good neurotransmitter, you can say, which is very essential. Okay, so dopamine can be released by daily good things like studying or doing a gym session or completing your daily task and etc. That will give you dopamine, or it regulates, what can I say, pleasure. It regulates motivation. It can also regulate some kind of motor activity in your brain. But the thing is that you get your dopamine in a cheap way now in today's world, also in a good way. So when you complete a gym session or when you complete your study hours, you will actually feel good. You will feel proud about yourself, and you will release that dopamine that will say you that okay, this activity, I know I need to do this again. But on the other hand, there is the cheap dopamine that you will get from reels, that you will get from constant doom scrolling, or even having something in behind that will make you feel good at the point, but you will regret it after completing that. Imagine yourself getting up and making your mind that okay, this hour I'm going to study, but in the same hour you just have this temptation to look at your phone, and yeah, you go to Instagram, you check your notifications, there is no notifications, yet you go into the reel section and start scrolling, and boom, 1 hour is gone, and you will feel guilty about it. Yes, you will surely be getting your dopamine hits, dopamine spikes, but that will be in a cheap way that will reduce your brain's focus and attention span. So basically, dopamine is good when you get it from good activities, like when you get it from activities which are having a long duration and can lead to focus. Like when you focus in things like studying or doing a gym session or even, doing simple task or your work, after which you will get, the hit that, okay, this thing, I will do it again because I feel good. And ultimately, if you do that consistently, you'll probably reach a point where you are proud of yourself that you did that thing. Whereas on the other hand, I already said you that cheap dopamines are present nowadays. And okay, if you are scrolling for like 15 minutes a day just getting updates and etc., that's completely fine. But make sure there is a time limit. Make sure, okay, you're not spending hours scrolling on Instagram or Pinterest. Okay, if you're but you know you just have to have that time limit. You just have to get that motivation on whatever you are looking for, and not be indulged in content like brain rot. It is literally rotting your brain, not in the sense of literal rotting, but our brain have this neuroplasticity that makes new neurons or make this whole connection in your brain. When you consume content which is baseless, you will probably feel that way. You will not have any goal or any ambition in your life. You will just live your life like on memes. But the thing is that if you are consuming content, please try to consume good content, or content from creators who inspire you, or content which inspires you to do something in your life. For example, if you love tennis, I do love tennis. So what I do is, whenever I want to just scroll, I just give myself a 15 minutes or 20 minutes of time in which I can scroll on things that I love. For example, I watch tennis, how to play. I do not know how to play it, but I want to play it. So I just see that content, how people are playing. And I also see creators like Liana Deep. She really helps me motivate in my gym sessions and etc. So yeah, so choose your content. What you watch is now who you are, because what you feed your brain is the person you are. So try feeding your brain good things, whatever you love. And let's talk about the dopamine baseline. So dopamine baseline is basically the daily level of dopamine that you get, okay, with when there is nothing exciting happening in your life. So if you are consuming a lot of stimulus, you will naturally release more dopamine. The good dopamine baseline is when you can sit and study, when you can complete a exercise without feeling bored, and just doing normal daily life without feeling that much of bored. It is like a default mode, okay, where you are neither too excited and nor you are too much bored to do stuff, okay. Whereas when you have a low dopamine baseline, you are literally not that you know into doing anything. You're feeling like, oh, this is so bored, how can I do it, or I'm not feeling like doing it. In content which is long form and not being involved in a lot of short form content or doom scrolling for hours, because a normal person nowadays spend an average of like 7 hours on screen. 7 hours, if you dedicate it towards any goal in your life, you can literally achieve whatever you want, whatever you want. Now think of it again, when you spend time on people who you don't know, or things which will not give you any value. So yeah, think of your time and your attention span as money, where you're spending it. You are spending your money, a lot of money, on things that you will not get any value from. So be conscious of what you are actually spending on, your time, your attention span, and try to consume long form content if you are feeling like consuming any content which can give you value. And yeah, short form is also good, but you should not be engaged in that a lot. Now let's come to solutions part, where we are going to discuss how we can reset this dopamine baseline and be conscious in our life again. So the first thing will be reducing the spikes of dopamine you get. Okay, of course. What I'm trying to say is, limit your doom scrolling, limit the content that you're consuming, which is baseless. If you really want to consume content, consume high value content that can actually make your life easier and not harder. Just create or curate your feed. Okay, make your feed which is accessible to your growth journey. You can just follow people who you love, who inspires you, or who really lit that motivation light in yourself, that after consuming them you're more likely to do that stuff. So consume people or content that will increase your spirituality, that will increase your focus, that will make your life easier and motivate you to do stuff that you really want to do. Low dopamine activities. So the second solution of this problem can be doing activities that will give you low dopamine, okay, after higher efforts, like sitting down and studying. That will give you motivation at the end, after you complete your studies, and you will be proud of yourself that okay, you did that task, okay. And yeah, you can try investing time and in activities like exercising or doing something productive in your life. For example, if you are uh, a student studying, if you are a worker, if you work currently, you can try working on your goals and your side businesses and etc. Try doing things that will engage you in your life, not just get away from it or feel like your daily tasks is boring. And third one, which is more exciting, is that I want you all to just be bored. In like only some days or years past, uh, a time a while ago, we did not used to had this access of widely available gadgets around us. So we used to be bored after completing our daily task, like coming back from school, doing our homework, eating lunch, or going to the tuition and coming back. We did not had anything to do, and at that point we used to just lay down and play with our hands and legs, or just be bored. Or think of it, like when was the last time you was bored? Okay, every time you're bored, you're actually reaching out to a gadget where you can consume any kind of content, right? Okay, that is good, but allow yourself some time to be bored. Okay, do nothing and be bored. This will really set your dopamine baseline. So the last solution to this problem will be earn your dopamine. Like I said, you are doing low dopamine activities, and every time you want dopamine, just earn it, not earn it from a cheap way. Okay, earn your dopamine while doing good stuff, like whatever the daily activities you have, whatever the goals you have. If you are studying, go study and get that dopamine hit. And the most important thing is that initial, just go sit down and start studying. Studying is not that hard. Sitting for studying is hard. Okay, reaching out for a gadget is very easy, and coming out of it is very hard. Whereas sitting for studying is hard, and continuing studying for some is, it is like a flow state where they are into studies and they are all into information processing, etc. So they naturally give themselves more time to study, and that's how A grade students are made up. So yes, that was the end for this video. I hope you all loved it. And yes, for the reminder, the first thing is the problem is that our attention span is very low nowadays. We are not excited in our daily lives. We are thinking that our daily life is very boring, and we are constantly putting our task onto the next day, or just procrastinating a lot. And yeah, the cause of this is our doom scrolling, low attention span, seeing reels for hours and hours and hours. Whereas the other thing can be that we are reaching out to gadgets a lot more, just because of the feeling of opting for a gadget, or just consuming any type of content or something. This problem came to a point that we literally are not engaged in conversations. We want our phones in between our conversations. Yeah, that is the problem, and the cause is, yes, the screen time. And the solutions to it is that if you really want your dopamine from good sources, get it from good sources. Okay, limit yourself from doom scrolling, from meaningless content, and yes, earn your dopamine rather than getting it from cheap sources, which can feel which can make you feel guilty. Whereas if you earn it, you will feel more proud of yourself. So make yourself proud and get your dopamine from a good source. Yeah, that was it. Ayesha signing off. Thank you for watching this video. If you watched it till the end, make sure to comment Rose. Bye.